Hare Krishna. Okay, so this is 533. Lord Vishnu appeared before King Nabhi with four arms. He was very bright, and he appeared with the best of all the personalities. Around the lower portion of his body, he wore a yellow silken garment. On his chest was the mark of Shrivatsa, which always displays beauty. He carried a conch shell, lotus flower, disc, and club, and he wore a garland of forest flowers and the Kaustuva gem. He was beautifully decorated with a helmet, earrings, bangles, belt, pearl necklace, armlets, ankle bells, and other bodily ornaments bedecked with radiant jewels. Seeing the Lord present before them, King Nabhi and his priests and associates felt just like the poor people who have suddenly attained great riches. They received the Lord and respectfully bent their heads and offered him things in worship. But it is distinctly mentioned here that the Supreme Personality of Godhead did not appear as an ordinary human being. He appeared before King Nabhi and his associates as the best of all personalities, Purushottama. As stated in the Vedas, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is also a living being, but he is a supreme living being. In Bhagavad Gita 7.7, Lord Krishna himself says, Mattaraha Mattaha Parataram Nanyat Kinchitasti Dhananjaya. O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. No one is more attractive or more authoritative than Lord Krishna. This is one of the differences between God and an ordinary living being. According to this description of the transcendental body of Lord Vishnu, the Lord can easily be distinguished from all the other living beings. Consequently, Maharaj Navi and his priests and associates all offered the Lord obeisances and began to worship him with various things. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Yam labdva chaparam labham manyate na adhikam tatha. That is, upon gaining this, one thinks that there is no greater gain. When one realizes God and sees the Lord face to face, one certainly thinks that he has gained the best of all things. Rasopi yasya param drishtva nivartate. When one experiences a higher taste, his consciousness is fixed. After seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one ceases to be attracted by anything material. One thus remains steady in his worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are learning here very beautifully how steadiness is directly proportional to how much we value uh, the spiritual gifts and mercy we receive. Here, the priests and Maharaj Nabhi, all of them are thinking that they don't deserve, and they have got this such an oceanic installment of causeless mercy. So they are exactly thinking, just like a poor man. They're exactly thinking just like a poor man. And this poor man has got great blessings. A poor man, just like a poor man getting a lot of riches immediately without much, without even expecting. So, in the same way, Maharaj Nabhi and the Brahmanas are feeling that what a great installment of mercy they have got. What a great installment of mercy. So, steadiness in bhakti is always proportional to the value what we give to these spiritual gifts. One who thinks that he deserves, he can think that he deserves, but this very thinking that he deserves uh, makes the valuation of the spiritual gifts very cheap, and as a consequence of that, there will be turbulence in such a person's bhakti. So, grateful and humble heart. Uh,
will never depart from the truth.
Yeah, will always remain steady. He will never depart.
From the truth.
Yeah, from the practices of devotional service, from the intense commitment of Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada further explains in the purport here that one who has got darshan of the Lord, see, the Supreme Lord is supremely attractive, and the Supreme Lord is supremely attractive, and the Supreme Lord is uh, is all powerful. So Prabhupada is saying, okay, if when the Supreme Lord comes, that the Supreme Lord is distinct from everyone else, and therefore one can very easily recognize the Supreme Lord. Another thing Prabhupada is telling is that the Supreme Lord is so attractive. So one who has got this taste, for him, the material world will appear insignificant. So this is a taste of the barometer of the advancement in spiritual life also, that one develops distaste for material activities proportionately. That means one is advancing. So here, this darshan of the Supreme Lord is overwhelming, and this darshan of the Supreme Lord is overwhelming. The darshan of the Supreme Lord has been overwhelming, and now always. That is the nature. It is like the darshan of the Lord is like an ocean of mercy. That's the point, no? It is just like an ocean of mercy. So that's why being said here that one always feels that one has gained the best of the things. And such a consciousness, yeah, Prabhupada is quoting that Yam labdha chaparam labham manyate nadikam tatha. This is 622. So one feels that he has gained this great mercy. There is nothing else. There is no greater gain actually. So one always feels that one has gained the best of the things. So one is not able to see that Krishna consciousness is the best till the time one is obsessed with the rest. Till the time one is chasing after the rest. In the material world, the craze for something only remains till the time one doesn't get it. When one gets it, uh, uh, it is same normal. One can clearly see that okay, there's not much change in my life. So, but only that obsession was there that yes, I want it, I want it. So so this is the point. This is the point that this craze after the material, this craze after material things is only an illusory, no, an illusion which is created because of this intensity of hankering. That's all. And to counter that, what is required is intense Krishna consciousness. An intense practice of Krishna consciousness will create uh, an insulation, so much so that these material glitters will not affect us much. So that's what intense Krishna consciousness does actually. That is why, as a sadhaka, uh, it is uh, uh, it is very healthy uh, to take to Krishna consciousness with a high fervor, the high tempo or a high zeal, or to do any activity of Krishna consciousness with a high zeal or high fervor. Because when one is having that high fervor, that will ensure intensity, and when that intensity is there, then one can experience that taste, and proportionately, the taste of the material world will appear pale and fake. Let's read further. Ritvija Uchuhu. The priest began to offer prayers to the Lord, saying, O most worshipable one, we are simply your servants. Although you are full in yourself, please, out of your causeless mercy, accept a little service from us, your eternal servants. We are not actually aware of your transcendental form, but we can simply offer our respectful obeisances again and again, as instructed by the Vedic literatures and authorized script acharyas. Materialistic living entities are very much attracted to the modes of material nature, and therefore they are never perfect. But you are above the jurisdiction of all material conceptions. Your name, form, and qualities are transcendental and beyond the conception of experimental knowledge. Indeed, who can conceive of you in the material world? We can perceive only material names and qualities. We have no other power than to offer our respectful obeisances and prayers unto you, the transcendental person. The chanting of your auspicious transcendental qualities will wipe out the sins of all the mankind. That is the most auspicious activity for us, and we can thus partially understand your supernatural position. Purport? The Supreme Personality of Godhead has nothing to do with the material perception. Even the impersonalist Shankaracharya says, Narayana Paro Vyaktat. Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is beyond the material conception. We cannot concoct the form and attributes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We must simply accept the description given in the Vedic literatures about the Lord's form and activities. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Chintamani Prakara Sadmasu Kalpavriksha Lakshavriteshu Surabhira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sahastra Satasamrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending the cows, yielding all desires. In abodes built with spiritual gems and surrounded by millions of purpose trees, he is always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds and thousands of goddess of fortune. We can have some conception of the absolute truth, his form, and his attributes simply by reading the descriptions.
Yes.
Given the Vedic literature and authoritative statements given by exalted personalities like Brahma, Narada, Sukadeva Goswami, and others. Srila Rupa Goswami says, Ataha Shri Krishna Namadi Napaved Grahiyam Indriya. We cannot conceive the name, form, and qualities of Shri Krishna through our material senses. Out of his causeless mercy upon his devotees, the Lord appeared before Maharaj Nabhi. Similarly, when we are engaged in the Lord's devotional service, the Lord reveals himself to us. Sevonmukehi jihibhadu swayameva surati yadaha. This is the only way to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti amam abhijanati yavan chaschasmi tatpataha. One can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service. There is no other way. We have to hear from the authorities and from the Shastra and consider the Supreme Lord
Yes.
in terms of their statements. We cannot imagine or concoct forms and attributes of the Lord. Yeah.
Yes.
So, Srila Rupa Goswami, as is written here, is mentioning that we cannot conceive of the form of Krishna with our mundane eyes. He is beyond our senses. So mercy dawns upon a devotee life and the Lord manifests himself. And Prabhupada is explaining Seva Unmukhehi Jihvado, that manifestation of the Lord is triggered, is brought about by engaging one's tongue in the senses of the in the service of the Lord, by chanting the holy names, by hearing the Krishna Katha of the Lord. So these descriptions, as is being explained here, is so that's the only way to connect to the Lord. Yeah. through devotional service.
Mm.
That's the only way to connect to the Lord through devotional service. Hmm. So Brahmaji here Brahmanas here
Yes, Prabhuji, say the words.
the Brahmanas here are offering such a uh, beautiful prayer. This is called as dependence or submission, wherein a devotee realizes that yes, by his own self he can never reach to the Supreme Lord. So the Brahmanas are saying that you are above the jurisdiction of all material conceptions. That no matter how much or howsoever one tries, one can never reach to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So no material names and qualities, by no material power one can actually approach the Supreme Lord. The Lord is only approached by service. And how much service? Till the time Lord is pleased. Then Krishna may like to manifest.
Mm.
Okay, let's read further. So this is dependence on Krishna's revelation. That the devotees, the Brahmanas are saying, by our power nothing can happen. It is you out of your causeless sweet will that you have appeared here. And because on one hand there is this great gratitude for the gesture of the Supreme Lord. There is this great gratitude on the mercy of the Supreme Lord. How the Supreme Lord has appeared.
Mm.
That how the Supreme Lord has just appeared. And
Yeah.
the Supreme Lord has revealed Himself.
And the purport Srila Prabhupada is saying that Lord is Atmaram, he doesn't need our service. If we engage in service, will be complete.
Yes, the Lord doesn't need our service, but we serve the Supreme Lord as a prayer. So that is our expression of Sharnagati.
That
And that may please the Lord, and that is our
Okay,
hope.
I have a
And when the Lord is pleased, then He reveals Himself. And when the Lord reveals Himself, then only there is enlightenment. Otherwise, one is superficially torturing. So one gains real intelligence by the blessings of the Acharyas. That's the point.
yes.
Okay, let's read further. Hmm? Yes? Text 6. O Supreme Lord, you are full in every respect. You are certainly very satisfied when your devotees offer you prayers with faltering voices and in ecstasy bring you tulsi leaves, water, twigs, bearing.
Hmm. What do you mean?
This surely makes you satisfied. Yeah.
Hmm.
So the Brahman is saying, oh, you are certainly very satisfied, but you are even more satisfied when your devotees offer you prayers with faltering voices and in ecstasy. They bring you tulsi leaves, water, twigs, bearing new leaves and newly grown grass. So this surely makes you satisfied.
Hmm. Yes. Um,
Purpose. One does not need great wealth, education, or opulence to satisfy the Supreme Personality of God. If one is fully absorbed in love and ecstasy, he need not offer only a flower. He need offer only a flower and little water.
yes.
As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. This is Bhagavad Gita 9:26. So the Supreme Lord can be pleased only by devotion service. Tulasi Dana Matrena Tulasiya. Huh?
तुलसी ज्ञान मात्र है ना.
Quoting from Gautamiya Tantra, the Hari Bhakti Vilas states, Tulasi Dala Matrena Jalasya Chulukenava Vikrinite Swam Atmanam Bhaktebhyo Bhaktavatsalaha. Sri Krishna, who is very affectionate towards his devotee, sells himself to a devotee who offers merely a tulasi leaf and a palmful of water. The Supreme Lord is causelessly merciful upon the devotee, so much so that even the poorest of the man can offer him little water and a flower in devotion.
Yes.
Okay. So here Prabhupada clearly says, that the Lord is satisfied only by devotion. With the humble, sincere, and earnest offering of the heart, that is what pleases the Supreme Lord. He is satisfied only by devotion. And therefore, Prabhupada is saying one does not need great wealth, education, or opulence to satisfy the Lord. So Krishna is satisfied merely with a tulasi leaf and a palmful of water. So merciful the Supreme Lord is. So Krishna only needs the sincerity of our heart. That is the point. Not skills, not complexities, not post positions. That is why in bhakti, the most important quality to exhibit is genuineness. Genuineness is the most important and attractive quality for the Supreme Lord. So bhakti, actually the process of bhakti, we don't have to. In bhakti, we have to understand that we are not showing. This is not a display for anyone. It is our personal offering, and if there is genuineness in that offering, Krishna will appreciate it, and Krishna like it. That is what the Lord is mentioning. The Lord is purchased by devotional service. The Lord is not. Uh, Otherwise, the Lord is fully satisfied. No amount of material things can satisfy. So, therefore, actually, who does what materially is not the Lord's concern. Krishna wants to see how much uh, we are offering ourselves to the Supreme Lord. So, genuineness and that genuine offering to the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, nobody can force or pressurize the Supreme Lord. Krishna is Swarat. No amount of quantification can satisfy the Supreme Lord. So, no amount of quantification can satisfy the Supreme Lord. No amount of vibhuti can satisfy the Supreme Lord. So, because Krishna is Swarat. But that humble, genuine Sharanagati, taking shelter of the Lord, is very attractive to the Supreme Lord. Krishna is attracted by devotion. That is why it is very important for a sadhaka to see that each and every service what we are doing, we should apply our heart in that service and do it heartily. Because everything what we are doing is an offering to the Supreme Lord, and therefore we should do the seva heartily. Let's read further. This is text 7. We have engaged in your worship with many things and had offered sacrifice unto you, but we think there is no need for so many arrangements to please your Lordship. Purport. Srila Rupa Goswami says that if one has offered varied foods, but as okay, so if one is offered varied foods, but he has no appetite, then the offering has no value. In a big sacrificial ceremony, there may be many things accumulated to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But if there is no devotion or attachment or love of the Lord, the arrangement is useless. The Lord is complete in Himself and He does not need anything from us. However, if we offer Him a little water, flower, fruit, and leaf, He will accept them. Bhakti or devotional service is the main leaf. So therefore it's being explained here that bhakti is the main way to satisfy the Supreme Lord. Text 8. Translation. All of our life goals and opulences are directly, self-sufficiently, unceasingly and unlimitedly increasing in you at every moment. Indeed, you are the unlimited enjoyment and blissful existence itself. As far as we are concerned, O Lord, we are always after material enjoyment. You do not need all these sacrificial arrangements, but they are meant for us so that we may be benedicted by your Lordship. All these sacrifices are performed for fruitive results and they are not actually needed by you. So when we approach the Supreme Lord, the need is ours. This sadhaka has to understand that okay, neither I am doing a favor, so I am not doing any favor to the Lord or to the devotees by my practices. Because Krishna doesn't need anything. He is Atmaram, he is independent, he is Swarat.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. So Krishna doesn't need anything, but it is our need. All these sacrifices are performed for our fruitive results and they are not actually needed by you. Purport. Being self-sufficient, the Supreme Lord does not need huge sacrifices. Fruitive activity for a more opulent life is for those who desire such material opulence for their interest. Yajnarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanah. If we do not act to satisfy the Supreme Lord, we engage in Maya's activities. We may construct a gorgeous temple and spend thousands of dollars, but such a temple is not required by the Lord. The Lord has many millions of temples for his residence, and he He does not need our attempt. He does not require opulent activity at all. Such engagement is meant for our benefit. If we engage our money in constructing a gorgeous temple, we are freed from the reactions of our endeavors. That is our benefit. In addition, if we attempt to do something nice for the Supreme Lord, He is pleased with us and gives us His benediction. In conclusion, the gorgeous arrangements are not for the Lord's sake, but for our own. If we somehow or the other receive blessings and benedictions of the Supreme Lord, our consciousness can be purified and we can become eligible to return home back to Godhead. Yes. So this is quite interesting because here the Supreme Lord is saying that okay, no matter whatever we do, by what we do, or no matter whatever we offer, whatever is offered to the Supreme Lord, uh, uh, by whatever we offer the Supreme Lord, that is not or what we are offering the Supreme Lord, it does not exactly please the Lord. But what pleases the Lord is how what pleases the Lord is why we are offering what we are offering to the Lord. So how much we are offering of ourselves to the Lord, that is the point. Krishna wants us to offer ourselves to the Lord. But we identify with material things. Therefore, offering of material things purifies our heart. Because we identified with material things. So actually, through now, Prabhupada is explaining here. Now you may say, "Oh, this is revolutionary or contradictory." Why? Because we focus so much on big temple construction. Prabhupada is saying that Krishna doesn't require temples. He doesn't require big residence. He is the biggest residence. So then, why is the big residence being constructed? Why is temple being constructed? That's the point. That we, by making a big offering to the Supreme Lord, no, we are offering ourselves to the Supreme Lord in a big way. So when somebody gives a 1 rupee to Krishna, he is making a 1 rupee offering to the Supreme Lord. So that means that such a person is offering 1 rupee to the Supreme Lord is offering himself very little to the Supreme Lord. But one who is offering everything to the Supreme Lord, he is making a very big offering to the Supreme Lord. This is exactly what Nanand Maharaj talks about Jagad Bandhu Prabhu, who was one of the disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. Who gave all his life earnings to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, utilizing which the Bagh Bazar Gaudiya Math was purchased and constructed. So Jagat Bandhu Prabhu makes his offering to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj with gratitude and a heart filled with humility. Jagat Bandhu Prabhu makes that statement. He says that Guru Maharaj, in offering you what already belongs to you, in offering you what already belongs to you, I have become yours. So that is why a devotee does not become slackened when it comes to service of the Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada says, when it comes to service of the Supreme Lord, a devotee is always daring and active. He is daring and he is active. Success or no success, a devotee is always daring and active. So when we wish to offer so much to Krishna that we fall short of resources, and the offering now has to be much more, and we fall short of resources, it is that time that we start offering ourselves to the Supreme Lord. This very beautiful aspect gets highlighted in the pastimes of Maharaj Bali. So Bali Maharaj was supposed to make a bigger offering to the Supreme Lord, and he thought he has made the biggest ever offering to the Supreme Lord. But the Lord showed him that all his biggest ever offering was spanned in 2 steps, and now there is no space in the entire material creation. So Bali Maharaj wanted to make so much an offering. He gave the biggest possible offering. The Lord reduced it to now, or the Lord showed that that is nothing. So Bali Maharaj is meditating what more to offer. What more to offer to the Supreme Lord. And thus Bali Maharaj is saying, okay, only one place remaining, my head, you please, no, I am making myself as an offering, you please accept me. This is Sharanagati actually. And that is why a devotee should always aspire to make a magnificent offering to the Supreme Lord. Make that magnificent offering. So therefore a devotee should never saturate in his offering. Oh, already I am doing so much for Krishna. No. That is unhealthy consciousness. Already I am doing so much for Krishna. That's unhealthy consciousness. Healthy consciousness means healthy consciousness means that a devotee is always thinking that I am not offering sufficiently to the Supreme Lord. Let me offer to the Supreme Lord more and more and more. That's the point. Let's read further. O Lord of the Lords, we are completely ignorant of the execution of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. The process of liberation